Welcome to the Conversation Colons podcast. I'm your host, Damien, my co-host, Jared.
Hello.
And Jared, why don't you take us into Brewskis of the Week?
I myself am currently rocking a Mountain Berry Blast Powerade that I was drinking with
Is that the
my
actual flavor name?
chicken. Yes, Mountain Berry Blast, mixed berry flavored, plus other natural flavors, Powerade sports drink, Ion 4.
All
It
right.
is.
What
do you have?
I have the good old reliable Mike's Hard Lemonade. The one alcoholic beverage that I can actually stand to drink.
Fair. Pretty good.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. I had no intentions of ever talking about this game, but I saw a lot of people on Twitter were excited about it. I don't know if you remember, but at E3 they had that game called Deathloop, where you're constantly you're having to redo things over and over again until you get the objective done. It was made by Bethesda, I think. I know it's a game no one remembers because it really wasn't that impressive. Anyways, it was supposed to come out next month, I think, and it got delayed all the way till later this year. I think August, October-ish, around that time. No, September. Sorry, September. So it's got a while to go again. And once again, the delay fest goes on. I feel like it's every week we have 2 or 3 games that we have to talk about.
I mean, it honestly does feel like it.
Yeah.
At this point.
But one game that's actually coming out, which I'll be playing on the PS5, is MLB The Show 21. That comes out in...
Is that baseball?
Yeah. That comes out in 2 days. Thanks, Siri, for popping up when I didn't even ask for you.
What a bitch.
Yeah, it comes out in 12 days. Sorry. And it's the first year it's coming to Xbox after... Gosh, the show's been a thing since... Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just fixing it. You can keep talking. Show since what?
The show... I don't remember there being a show before 04. I think 06 was the first year. That's the first one I played, so I don't know for sure. But yeah, I played 06, 07, 08, 09, and then I didn't play any till I had my PS4, and I played the show 18. And the career mode's really fun in that. So I'll be playing that. That comes out in 12 days. But first time it's on Xbox, and it's coming to Game Pass, which is weird because it's a Sony-made game. It's made by one of their developers, and they're supporting Game Pass in a weird way.
Yeah, it was weird.
And so also an article came out this week that it wasn't Sony's idea to put MLB The Show on Xbox. It was MLB who said, "Hey, we want it on Xbox," which makes sense. It's the best baseball game by a mile. So it's nice that it's finally on Xbox. It's not on PC, unfortunately. But I'll be playing it on PS5. And then I think Returnal comes out this month as well, which is also it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive. It's that's the one where you go onto a planet. It's a third person shooter. You go onto an alien planet, kind of like a Doomish but third person style game. And when you die, it resets the world and everything. That comes out later this year. But I finally turned on my PlayStation 5 after 3 weeks of not even touching it. And I played the Avengers because it was free with PlayStation Plus or whatever. And I played the whole intro cutscene, and that was awful, to say the least. So, but yeah, so let's get it.
Struggled for sure.
Yeah, it's not a good game. Let's get into the main topic of the show. What are you gonna spray, Jared? What are you gonna spray, Jared?
I don't know what you're talking about, Damien. Oh, you saw me grab it. Shit.
Last week's Winter Soldier and Falcon. They went and found I forget his name.
Zemo, you
Emo,
fucking
yeah.
cuck.
Sorry. It's been a long day, dude. And yeah, what
Sorry.
did you
For a long
what did you
day.
think of the episode with Zemo kind of stepping in as like that third tertiary character?
This was my PP for the first 2 episodes. This was my PP after the 3rd episode.
Okay. What'd you like about it?
Um, honestly, what I liked about it was the interactions between the 3 characters, because obviously you have someone who uh is like Zemo, like that person who was a bad guy.
Right.
Pretty much one of the only real baddies to quote unquote defeat the Avengers.
Right.
So you have him going up against the guy he directly manipulated to do everything that happened in the events of Civil War, and that's Bucky. And those two interacting, first of all, was awesome. I thought that was uh, a great aspect, especially because of their history in Civil War.
Right.
Um, but yeah, no, I think overall, like I said, their chemistry there was pretty good. Not trusting him, but for obvious reasons, but also being so desperate that they had to go to him to get what they got. Um, and he also is an interesting enough character and a good enough actor, in my opinion, to see the backstory we're getting from him
Yeah,
is
Bro's
nice.
pretty good. That's his name,
Like
Daniel
the
Brühl.
what did they call him? A baron in
Yeah,
his
the Baron.
country. He's like, yeah, he's like, I was a baron in my country before everything happened. So
Yeah,
that's dope.
there was that one scene when they're walking to the jet and they're like, "What all of a sudden you're rich?" And he's like, "I was a baron in my country."
Yeah, that's fucking dope. That's really cool.
Little side
Um,
note, real quick, before you continue, um, Daniel Brühl had an interview this week talking about in that episode there's a dance, right, that they're at, and you can see Zemo dancing. There was a whole hour. He did a whole hour of dancing, just making it up himself. And so on Twitter, release of the Brühl cut happened, and Marvel released on their YouTube channel the whole hour of him fucking dancing.
what?
Yeah.
Dude, we'll have to watch that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
That
But
is
continue,
funny. That's
yeah.
funny as shit. But fuck knowing that, that's awesome. Anyway, yeah, getting more into that, like when that scene actually happens, like well before that, when they meet Sharon from I think also Civil War, right? Was that
Yes.
also, yeah, from Civil War. She's a great character. Seeing that return was awesome, and also seeing the way that she obviously didn't trust Zemo was really interesting. Um, I don't know. It's hard to explain how much I guess it's not really. I enjoy it all because of what it is, what they're leading up to, but I want to see more. I
Right.
want to be able to say, "Oh, that was awesome because of what it led to." But right now we're not at that part. I don't know what it's leading to. I just know that I'm excited to see what it's about to like what is going to happen.
Yeah, this is episode 5, correct?
Next week's 4 of no, well, the one we're talking about now is episode 3 of 6. Upcoming is 4.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think Daniel Brühl brings a lot. He's very charismatic as Zemo. I think
He plays the character so
right.
fucking good.
I think what
So
I
good.
love about this week's is like when they go to that lower end area, like everyone knows the Winter Soldier,
Mm.
and like he's like, "Hey, you have to play this role or we're going to die here," because everyone fears the Winter Soldier and what he's done and everything. So that was a cool way of bringing him back to his roots. But what do you think of the Winter Soldier this week? Like how his performance?
Good. I was glad to see um Sebastian Stan like bring that character kind of back, but not
Right.
obviously not for real. It was like it was interesting to see him like not want to listen to Zemo when he talks in Russian or whatever. It was Russian, yeah. Like soldier attack or whatever kill or whatever he says. Like it was interesting to see him like not want to, but then just fucking do it. Um because you know that he's himself. You know that he doesn't want to do these things, but he understands the Russian. He knows what he's saying. Like he knows that if he doesn't do this, he isn't going to find the people who like made the super soldier serum. He's not going to
Right.
find the people who are responsible for all these things happening. He's not going to be able to put a stop to these super soldiers being made, which is kind of obviously the goal here. They want to stop more of these potential bad guys, like in the Civil War when Zemo killed other ones. Like It's interesting because it's technically Zemo's goal too. So it was great to see Winter Soldier come back because what has happened in all the flashbacks we've seen. Winter Soldier's always the one super soldier to get out and not
Right.
get killed. He's always still there. So it's good to see those roots, like you said.
Yeah, I think the Falcon definitely or Anthony Mackie's character, like he definitely took a step back this episode. Like
A-okay.
he was prominent, yeah, which is fine. But I think so far in the show, like the Winter Soldier is the most like interesting part of it, and now Zemo is like second. I like I like the way they're using Zemo to where like you feel like his intentions are wrong, but he's still helping. And like at the end when they're in the cargo area and he gets separated from them, I thought, and like he put on his mask and everything, and I thought that's where he would dip and like leave them behind. But no, like he needs them, and so he
Still needs
stayed.
their help.
You're right, and he stayed, and they all got in the car at the end. So a really interesting episode. Definitely, I think the best episode so far out of the three that we've gotten. And we didn't see any of the new Captain America this episode either. So
yes, we did.
Did we?
There wasn't a lot.
Was it like
very,
one scene?
Very little. There was a couple. It was like 3 scenes maybe. The one where they go into the hideout where they were all the.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't even get
and
into
he
that.
And when he gets his face spit on, he goes,
Yeah.
"Do you know who I
That's
am?"
right. Yeah.
And it's like, there it is. There's just the slow de-escalation or the slow decline of his character.
I think.
And then the other one was, I think, the other one was they were walking somewhere. It was like some kind of minor dialogue.
Yeah.
But there was a lot more of the open hand or whatever, the fucking fist in the planet. That there's a lot more.
Yeah.
In this one.
I think what helps is like those villains. They have an interesting idea. See, what made Thanos so cool was like he had like you could see why he was doing it. Like he wasn't really a bad guy. He was just helping the universe, right? But he just had to kill people to do it. So with these people, like I understand where they're coming from because all these people that survived those 5 years during the blip, like are getting pushed behind in a sense, and like because they have to take care of the new people. So you understand where they're going through. But I mean, they basically committed an act of terrorism. They killed those people in that building that caught on fire or blew up because of the car and caught on fire. So, and at the end, she's like, "This is the only way they'll listen to us, right?"
This is the only language they know.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. With the new Captain America, I mean, I think after our first episode review, like me and you both called it, like we knew he was probably going to become like either A, the main villain, or B, like one of the villains. And I think the trajectory of this show is by the last episode, they're going to fight. And like, I think the Falcon will get the shield back. That's all it is, all it's about. And I really see them just giving it to Bucky and him saying, like, you need this. Like, you deserve this more. And then letting Bucky.
I fucking hope.
Like, so here's my thing. In the comics, like, the Falcon kind of needed to become Captain America because his character wasn't really well developed and no one really cared about him. In the MCU, people like him as the Falcon. So I don't see him needing the shield. Bucky needs the shield. Like, he needs a character revamp just because he's been in the MCU now for 10 years, his character. And I mean, so is Falcon. But Falcon, he's more diverse. You can do more with him. Bucky is more of a plain kind of one-way character. Now you need to kind of revamp his character, give him something new. You give him the shield. He can now honor Steve's legacy and carry on Steve's legacy like he wants to do. But I feel like at the end of the show, it will be like them either retiring the shield or like Bucky having the shield from now on. And then Falcon being, Falcon.
Yeah.
But I wonder what they're going to do with Zemo because I don't see him going off and like dying. So I wonder, because they never said if this was going to be a 1-season thing. They've made sure not to say that.
Because when WandaVision was.
They said WandaVision's a 1-season show.
Said with this one.
Right. So I wonder, like, towards the end, if, like, they kind of insert him into, okay, he's the main villain for season 2. Like, they're going after him in season 2. because there's a lot of like dead time in the MCU right now, because the next two movies I don't see really having big implications. You have Black Widow, that's a movie before Endgame, right? It's in between. And then you have Spider-Man 3, which is probably setting up a lot of other movies. An Avengers movie is a long time away, which is where you would see these two. So I feel like a season 2 of this show would come out before the next Avengers movie, where they would want to be predominantly shown. So they have a lot of room to work with and tell more interesting stories with them. And so I wouldn't be shocked if like season 2 comes out in 2 years, and they go ahead and announce that once the season's over.
I can see that.
They did show the Loki trailer this week, which
Yep.
Did you watch it?
I actually did. Well, apparently there's more than one out right now. Apparently there's two like small chain, like two
Right.
different variants. I've seen one of them. I don't remember which one.
Yeah, so
It's fucking awesome.
it looks really good. It's definitely a different take on what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be, since he grabbed the Tesseract, like him going through his plot line and like messing things up. But no, he's dealing with people who control time and the reality.
Yeah.
And
that was fucking weird.
Yeah.
To see that as a part of the MCU. First of all, Owen Wilson in the MCU. Never thought I'd see that.
Yeah.
But this whole time police thing for the MCU is crazy, because like you just had Endgame where they did all this time traveling stuff, and like they're gonna put everything back. So Cap obviously did it enough to where they didn't steal him, be like, you broke the fucking time. So this is really, 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 really interesting that him taking it is what broke the timeline. Everything was supposed to happen the way it did until that. But like that means them failing was not supposed to happen. They weren't supposed to fail getting the Tesseract when they did in Endgame. It's amazing. Like I want to see what they do with that, because it's so insane that they have like a look at the line there, and look what happened when you took the Tesseract. And there's like a bunch of fucking splits. It's like,
right.
what?
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. So that starts literally like a week after the Winter Soldier and Falcon stops. And it's really unique. Obviously, Tom Hiddleston as Loki is a great character. He's really funny, charismatic in that role.
It's awesome.
So we will see what happens with that show. But what are your expectations for that show? Because I think that's 8 episodes, if I'm not wrong. So what do you want from that show?
Obviously, I'm excited for it, as I just kind of showed in a little outburst there. However, I am very worried about how Loki's character is going to be portrayed, because you're taking the Loki that was you saw. Okay, this Loki that we are going to have in the show went through the Thor movie and went through Avengers, and instead of having it finish out where he goes, gets taken away, and I assume he's in Thor 2. I haven't seen it yet. Sue me, we're about to watch that, whatever. He isn't going to have all these things happen. So we're not going to get the Loki from Ragnarok, where he like kind of goes the good, like the good.
Right. Well, that was a
side,
big movie for his character arc. Like that's where he like really starts to turn.
And that's why, with this happening, I'm worried we're going to have a not as good Loki, because everyone loved how he turned out in Ragnarok and going, well, I was going to say going into Infinity War, but motherfucker dies. So I'm kind of scared that we're going to have a bland Loki like from the first Thor. But at the same time, I'm hoping that what happens here is going to like in its own way accelerate to that Ragnarok version of Loki, except he's still really mischievous, still very evil, for lack of better words, and he's not going to be more towards Thor's side. So I'm hoping that this blends it together to where he turns out good, and not like, oh, like there's a Thor Loki that was all
right,
brother, you like that.
Well, so I wonder if they're going to show him in the show like that reality of like what happened during Ragnarok, and like kind of catching him up, seeing where his path was supposed to go. And then maybe with like, because they say, hey, now that you've done this, like you're going to have to go back and help us fix things. So I wonder if he's going to experience different realities where he won and how bad it got and how bad
for
him it got. Because if he won in Avengers, the first one, like basically secures the Thanos win. Like Thanos snaps half the people away. Who's to say Loki doesn't get snapped away? Right? Like, so I feel like that's how they're gonna catch him up and maybe like say, hey, like, this is how we're gonna turn Loki good towards the end of the show, and then he'll be in Thor 4. So I wonder if that's how they'll do it. So that
I
you're
didn't even think of that.
right. So that, and then you're gonna have the Loki that we've always had. But see, here's my problem, and I've talked about this a lot. The problem with Marvel comics and comics in general is there's no stakes because they always bring the characters back. And with the MCU, my issue is going to be if they do the same thing. Loki died in Infinity War. The reason why Thanos feels so strong as a villain is because immediately he kills like a very strong character in the MCU, like nothing. He takes out the Hulk like nothing, and it sets him up as that villain. And now we're gonna potentially get Loki back, and he's gonna be basically the same. So it hinders the stakes of Infinity War and Endgame. Because Endgame, I feel like with Endgame or Infinity War and Endgame, that was a chapter close. These characters that died, they're dead now. They will no longer move on. Or like Cap, like he went back to his thing, no longer will be in the MCU. So
Yeah.
with this Loki TV show, like it's interesting enough because he's not back in the like main MCU, right? He's doing his own thing.
Yeah, that's exactly
that works for me. I'm cool with that. But I don't want him coming back and being with Thor. I don't want this and this and that because it's going to ruin what happened in Infinity War for me. And it'll be the same thing if they brought back, like, if they brought back Iron Man or if they brought back Heimdall or these different characters that died throughout that process, it makes Infinity War Endgame feel useless, right? If they brought back Black Widow,
I disagree.
I don't think it keeps those
they
stakes
are
there.
for technically.
Well,
for
no, but Black
movie.
Widow is a prequel to before her death, because that happens in between or before Infinity War. So she's not dead yet, so that makes sense. It's just in the case of like, okay, we're gonna figure out this way to bring this character back. So like, yay, he didn't really die. Like, yeah, the one died, but he's back. Don't worry. Like, that's a problem with me because then you're lowering the stakes of the MCU in general.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think like the weight of what Infinity War Game was still absolutely going to hold true. I mean, because it was amazing, still is amazing, and everything that happened. I mean, it still happened. When you look at it on a timeline, here's where we started, here's where it's ending. Here in the middle, fucking Loki dies, and like, yeah, because of the timeline things, something up here means he's coming back, and that means that the branch could come back down, and he could end up back in this main timeline. I can see where you're coming from, like saying that there's not much risk because they can just bring him back. But the thing is, as long as they're not bringing him back lazily, if there's some thought to it, if they're going to do it over time, like a whole TV show and then another movie, I don't think there's harm in bringing him back as long as there's some kind of explanation down the line.
But see, it is kind of lazy because they're just getting the shock value of him dying in Infinity War, and then they know they're just going to bring him back later. So it means nothing. It's still so. If he comes back in the main MCU with
but that's
Thor,
not that Loki is dead,
right? But let's say they catch him up in his own TV show where he's basically the Loki that he was before. Like he knows everything that's going to go on. He is back to where or he is at where that Infinity War Loki is. It's the same character. So my point is, if he comes back into the main MCU, when you go back and watch Infinity War, all the stakes of Loki dying and Thor's reasoning for doing what he does in Infinity War is gone because at that time that he's just going to be brought back. And with the MCU, you don't want to go the comic route. When a character dies, that's it. You have stakes. So now when people watch Avengers movies, they can go, oh, okay, like he's actually dead. This means a lot. What if the next character dies and people are like, oh, well, maybe they'll bring him back for this, or that. It's happened with the Vision. Like, the Vision came back and Wanda can now just bring people back in a weird way. Like, I know he wasn't ever like physically, or he was physically there, but he wasn't actually like there, if you know what I mean. But like his way of coming back even ruined like him dying in Infinity War a little for me. Like, I feel like I would have rather her have the PTSD of him being gone. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like seeing him and having him be an actual character like that instead of her just going through her own thing just ruins what happened in Infinity War. But with Loki, he's dead. Just give him his TV show, leave it at that. Don't bring him back, so that everything that happened in the Avengers movies actually means something.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're thinking a little bit too deep into it. I mean, like like going into the Vision thing from WandaVision. Like he wasn't there. She was using her powers to create something that wasn't real. I mean, it was
Right.
in the show clearly he couldn't exist if her powers being taken away. Now, Sword or whatever the fuck they're called, they rebuilt him, but it obviously wasn't the Vision. It was some
Well, but see,
anti-Vision.
here's the thing now.
But the thing
He
that
got
they
all his memories back.
when they downloaded his memories, now that to me was, I think personally that was a good call by them, because yes, he died in Infinity War, but the entire thing was a fucking waste of that character. What they did to him, that was a waste,
No,
because
it made so much sense.
built up getting that gem out of his head safely that whole time just for it to not happen. Like she's like,
that's the
"Oh,
point.
I need like 15 more minutes," and it's like, "Oh, well, you only have like 10. Sorry, bitch."
Well,
Like
but that's the point. It's building the stakes of that final battle, and then when Thanos kills them, like it makes that whole ending so much better, because not only did they lose, like in general, they lost people.
Well, yeah,
And
but they already the snap wasn't really a loss. Okay,
and the thing is, now that the Vision's back, because he got all his memories, that loss, that emotional loss that Wanda felt, it could now be potentially gone. So what happens in what if in Doctor Strange 2, he shows up and he's all, oh, I remember you, I remember what we had, and it's like I don't like that.
It's not going to be the same. That's the thing, is
It's not going to be the same, but the character's still there, and it's not.
Well, yeah, but
rewarding.
it's not the same character.
It is the same character.
It's a character that is died. He has literally died,
Right?
been rebuilt, and does not have the gem, the Mind Stone, which in Ultron they even say like it's a part of him. That's part of who he is.
Right.
Ultron, Jarvis, the Mind Stone, and a little bit of someone else. I think it's a little bit of Tony or something like that. Now that the Mind Stone's gone, that's a part of him that is gone. So yes, he has the memories, but he isn't all there. He's still like 2/3 of a person, 2/3 of who he was.
But he has his memories, so the main characteristics of the character are still there.
Well,
so
they can be.
He's got all of that back. So
we have to see it in order to know.
Yeah, but they set it up pretty clear. He has all his memories back, and he left for him to come back later on. So what that does is that's basically a con way of getting him back to the MCU, because they don't want to live with the stakes of what happened at the end of Infinity War.
Well,
it's the same thing that they're doing with Loki.
What they're doing with the Vision, I think, is not a bad idea, because they wasted his character.
I don't think Loki, it was a waste.
I agree with you. With Loki, he should stay dead. But if they bring him back, as long as it isn't done in a shitty way, as long as they have a good reason behind it, obviously with this whole time heist bullshit going on, I'm gonna be a little bit more okay with it than like if they were just like, oh, like, you know what, he did the magic thing he always does. Like, that'd be stupid.
What
the Vision I thought was a wasted kill.
It's
like,
not a wasted kill, because you get the emotional payoff. You get to see Wanda at her worst. Then also, not only did the Avengers lose like a friend, a loved one, they lost the most powerful Avenger. Like, he had an Infinity Stone in his head. He was the most powerful Avenger. Clearly.
I mean, but Captain Marvel, obviously.
Stop. You're just going to piss me off.
She was born of the Tesseract, brother.
Dude, when Thanos fucking bitch slapped her, I was so fucking ready. I was happy for him.
What the fuck? What's her real name?
Carol Danvers.
Brie
Larson.
Brie Larson. Jesus Christ. I saw a video about her the other day, and it was like, your name is something, and I was like, I don't remember her name.
Yeah, I hate her. So you get all that. They lose their main Avenger, the most powerful Avenger, and yeah, they get Captain Marvel. She's not the most powerful. Thor's more powerful, and Hulk's more powerful than her, but we'll leave it at that. And so it gives Wanda a reason to keep fighting, and then that causes WandaVision to happen. So it's not a waste of a character, because it sets up so much more. What's a waste of a character is all this setup and then to just bring him back.
But he doesn't have the Mind Stone anymore, so he isn't back all the way. That's what I'm getting at. And also the whole thing, like saying he had an Infinity Stone, so he was the most powerful Avenger. Now he isn't Now he's just a
Right,
fucking...
now he isn't. Now he's just the character we all loved personally. Because he has all his memories back. That's going to be the problem. He knows who he is now. He has everything back. He remembers everything from Ultron.
He doesn't have the power from the stone.
But that doesn't matter because he's still...
Yes, it does, because that means he's not powerful anymore.
Most people don't care about his powers. They like him as a person. That's what WandaVision shows.
I like when
That's what WandaVision showed the most, because when WandaVision, you don't really get to see him a lot using these powers. You get to see the person, and that's what most people like.
Well, yeah.
So
we never
now
saw that before.
That person is back, alive, with his memories, all his emotions in the MCU. It's just a waste. It's just a waste. They should have just kept him alive in Infinity War, because then it was annoying, because all this setup that's been... God, Infinity War came out in what, 2018? All this fucking setup, of look at how much damage the Vision did to Wanda, and look at what all this setup. Oh, we're just gonna bring him right back. Oh, Loki died in Infinity War. Oh, Thor's main motivation to kick Thanos' ass. Oh, he's back. Nice. Might as well bring back Black Widow.
I don't think that... I think you're oversimplifying the way they bring them back. Like,
I'm not oversimplifying.
I feel like you are,
laying out every reason why they should not bring those characters back. I've laid out my reason.
You're taking a character who is, we'll just say it was fucking the Vision. He was made, he did awesome things, he did some awesome fighting, he dies. He's gone for a stretch of time.
Done.
In the world. Stop your fucking mouth, bitch. In the MCU, he is dead and gone for all this time. Then they bring him back in this timeline, years down the stretch, and they start doing more with him again. Now, for us, as the people watching the movies and shows, because it's not real, it's just entertainment. At the end of the day, they're taking a storyline in its own separate... the MCU, it's a universe, and they're stretching it out down the line. So in their time, it's a lot longer, it's a lot different, it's a lot more stretched out compared to our timeline, like our real life.
So
my point...
I understand I'm sorry, I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish.
My point is, while from our perspective, it may seem as if, oh, they're just bringing him back, oh, wow, well, just bring the character back, you lazy fucks. Think about this. What if all of a sudden Cody went missing?
My friend Cody?
Yes, our Cody.
Okay.
What if Cody just went missing, and he was missing for 3 years? We don't know. We assume he's gone. He's dead. He is nothing anymore. He is in the ground, 6 feet down. Nothing. All of a sudden he comes back. Hey guys, I got sex trafficked and brought to fucking South America, but then I escaped and I'm back. And he's like, I need to reintegrate into life now. He was gone, but he came back.
Yeah. So what you're comparing is two different things. You're comparing a real life person to what you called entertainment, right?
Yes.
So, okay. Your point doesn't make any sense, because you're saying...
But to the people
what you're saying is...
to them, it's real.
Your point, literally, because you said, well, it's entertainment. Yeah, I'm going to call out lazy entertainment and lazy plot lines. Because if we didn't, we would get more movies like the 2016 Ghostbusters. We would get more bad movies.
That's fair.
So you can't just sit there and go, oh, it's entertainment. You also can't compare someone being sex trafficked to someone getting a stone, the main power source of their body, ripped out of their fucking heads, dying. Okay? Completely. Done. No Infinity Stone. Done. And then Cody just coming back. Vision didn't just come back. The military...
He did. They rebuilt him.
Military just rebuilt him. Also, that's stupid. Why would you just rebuild the fucker? Why haven't you done this at all? Why didn't you do this before? You could have done this before.
If you want to bring up that argument, why didn't Tony Stark just rebuild him in the 5 years between Infinity War and Endgame?
Thank you. If it's so easy, the government did it so easily. The smartest person in the fucking world couldn't do it. They did it really easily. Let's be honest here. 2 episodes, and they didn't really show off how they did it that much. Let's be honest here. So yes, I'm going to call out lazy storytelling to bring back characters that they didn't want to keep dead. And it's their, hey, if they want to do that, it's fine. I just feel like in the end, it's just going to make people not like Marvel as much. That's just me. Because it's happened with the comics.
Is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, assuming that these people in their universe, it's real to them, that stretch of time when he was not around to when he was back, that's a lot of time for him to like forget about his existence and also him to come back. That's the shock value. You have to take a look at it from the character's perspective and understand that it isn't just, oh well, that's so lazy they brought him back. Like, oh my god, you're back. Oh, it's so emotional.
I understand what you're saying.
It's
Like you
not
have
yet though because we haven't seen it.
you have
but
to
it
take
could
the
be.
character's perspective into this. But at the end of the day, when you step out and you analyze what they're doing in the shows, they are bringing back characters that died for a purpose when they didn't need to.
See, I think you're being a little harsh in critiquing the MCU, which it deserves. Don't get me wrong. I think the MCU does deserve critiquing, but I think you're being a little too harsh on it, considering there are things that we could have had instead of it, like the Warner Brothers cut of Justice League.
See, but I don't think like, oh well, let's take no, I don't think like that. I don't think like, oh, let's take this because we didn't get this one. Like, I don't think like that. No, we have this and it sucks because they're ruining it. It sucks in the way they're bringing back the characters. That's what I mean. Overall, it doesn't suck. Okay, now if we want to get into the Justice League thing, I understand that, but I'm not comparing Justice League. MCU beats Justice League, like obviously beats the DC Snyder universe, whatever. I understand that, but I'm comparing MCU saying, hey, what they are doing here does not make any sense in the correlation of why are you ruining or in the correlation of their storylines, and they're doing what ruined the comics, and this is why the comics are failing now, and this is why the MCU is going to ruin their own characters and their own emotional support from their fans. Plot done. There you go. Anyways, to move on, because that was 20 minutes. Sorry, would you like any final things to say?
No, you're not worth my time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, there's really not anything else to say. I mean, I don't disagree with a lot of the points you make. However, at the end of it, it's I guess I just don't think it's as bad as what you think it is. Like, I know you think it's a lot worse. I look at it, I go, that's really cool. I like this character. I'm glad they're bringing him back. As at least they're not doing it, like I said, in the super lazy way they could, especially with Loki. How many times did we see him, like, and he did the magic, like, oh, he's really just fucking projecting a false self. Like, at least they're not doing that, I guess. And like, I know you don't think like that. All right, then don't think like that. I'll use my big brain. You use your fucking, what you've got.
Reasonable brain. Thinking, well, they didn't do that, so this is just fine. Okay, that's like saying, well, he didn't rape 2 children, but he raped 1, so 1's better than 2. No, 1's still just as bad.
That's not what I'm saying.
What you're saying?
I'm saying we've got one scenario where they've come back. We don't know what could have happened. They could have made it a lot worse. They could have made it a lot better. And I'm looking at it as in my opinion, there's a lot more worse ways that they could bring characters back than there are ways to improve upon it.
But I think just because there's a lot of like worse ways doesn't mean that the way they're on right now like is still good. It's still a good path. But that's your opinion. I have my opinion. I didn't call you a small brain. You started calling names. You said with whatever you have, you were implying something.
Look, you can take my implications as you will, but I was just trying to say that we're not the same person is all. We're not NPCs.
Yeah, but like the fact that you said like I'm here with my big brain and with whatever you have.
I thought you said my brain.
No, you did say big brain. So you were implying that I had a smaller brain than you.
I mean, I just have a big head, bro. Fat skull. That's all.
That doesn't mean you have a bigger brain. What? That's not how it works.
Big boned. I'm big boned, bro.
That's not a thing like that.
Big bone, I got that fucking the caveman forehead. I just think you're getting offended for something that you shouldn't be getting offended. Why don't you calm down, Karen? All right, let's talk about something else.
Bro.
Clearly, you're getting a little bit too heated.
It's because you call me a small brain. It's all right.
I didn't call you small brain.
I'm just gonna say I laid it all out in the line
Hey,
for this
would
debate.
you rather have a small brain or a small penis? Go.
Small penis. Because I
Really?
already
You'd
have
rather
that
have?
one, so I'm already dealing with it.
All right. Well, that's okay.
Yeah. I'm rocking like a mega cock.
You
Godzilla
hear
cock
that,
over
buddy?
here.
We have a chance.
Yeah. Godzilla cock. Uh
Godzilla cock.
yeah, so a few weeks ago, we did a segment where I shut off some new gaming stuff I got. And I see your face. You don't have to be a bitch about it. Like just listen. Just watch.
What's changed? We did this last week. What
We
did
did
you
this
got?
2 weeks ago.
Are you sure about that? Didn't you show
Yes.
off?
But a
Like,
lot has changed. A lot has changed. Okay. First off, I mentioned him last week. Shout out to Chad. He watches this. Shout out to Chad's wife. I think she also watches this. Okay. Regular viewers.
you're telling me that there are potentially women that watch this that don't hate you for the comments you make?
Yes. Very much.
That's shocking. That's
so
shocking.
Chad is an avid movie watcher like me. And so he gave me, well, he didn't give, he let me borrow the new 4K version of Tremors.
The fuck is that?
You never. Okay, so let me put this out there. I don't care for Tremors like that, but Tremors is like one of those classic like monster movies.
I've never once heard of that movie.
It has Kevin Bacon in it. It's where they have their sand creatures.
Is Kevin Bacon the bad guy in R.I.P.D.?
Dude, I watched the movie like 6 years ago. I don't remember like what was going on in that movie. All I remember was Ryan Reynolds was in that. Like Kevin Bacon's in Footloose.
I've never seen Footloose. You expect me to have seen Footloose?
What?
Footloose. Isn't that the hold on.
What is happening right now? You expect me to watch Footloose?
Kevin Bacon. Yeah, he's in R.I.P.D. That's good.
Okay, so anyways, a bunch of sand monsters. Okay, the first one's a really good like monster movie. Okay, it's a classic, Jared. Anyways, in this 4K edition, they like
Jeff Bridges is the other one.
Yeah, they upscale. I could have told you that. They upscaled everything. I think they made the CGI a lot better. The film grain's really well done on it. And it's even the cool little like collector's edition with like a cool poster and like a bunch of like stuff from the movie. So thanks, Chad. I'll be watching this this week, and then I will review it on next week's episode. So thanks, Chad. I think this bitch is like 3 discs.
Did people like find Kevin Bacon attractive when he was younger?
Yes.
Because he looks like a
right now he looks
like
Kevin Bacon
like a
nowadays.
Headed Tom Brady is what he reminds me of.
Kevin Bacon nowadays looks like an unburnt Freddy Krueger to me.
Did he play the green guy in the Spider-Man movies with not Garfield or Holland? What was his Maguire? Toby?
He did not.
No, it looks just like him.
No.
That picture does.
That was William Dafoe, by the way.
Dafoe.
Yeah.
That's right. That's who that was.
I can't believe you've never seen Footloose. That's
I probably have when I was younger.
A classic movie.
I don't remember it. I know the song. Gotta get loose. Footloose.
Copyright. Thank you.
I won't say anymore. Don't worry.
Yeah.
15 seconds.
You've never even heard of Tremors? I bet if you asked your dad would like freak out about Tremors. Be like, dude, I fucking love Tremors. Anyways, yeah, so
probably not.
It's really cool. Thanks, Chad. I'll be watching this. But I have 4 games that I bought within the past week. I've been on a little bit of a spending spree. Why? Why do you got to be like this? The way you are. So not only did I buy these 4 games, I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I bought 6 more after that.
Many.
Thank you. So I bought 6 more games after these 4, which I'll show off as they come in. But 9 more actually. Sorry. So I can just kick you for this part. I don't fucking need you. So I got the and all thanks to Kyle who also watches. I got the first Silent Hill like really clean. on PS1. I got Silent Hill 4.
Wouldn't they just call it PlayStation instead of PlayStation 1?
PS1.
Oh, was it called PS1?
Well, if I say on PlayStation, maybe someone gets confused, like, oh, maybe it's on PS2. No, it's on PS1.
Oh, you don't know.
Let me just do my thing. Thank you. If they have a problem with it, they can message. I got Silent Hill 4 on PS2.
Hey, leave in the comments if you don't like the way he's enunciating the numbers.
What do you mean? PS2. 2? What?
1? PS1?
Okay. Silent Hill 3 on PS2. My favorite Silent Hill game. And
wait,
then,
was that? Wait. I actually didn't hear. Was that PlayStation?
Yeah,
3?
PlayStation 2.
Oh, Silent Hill 3 on PlayStation 2.
Yes. And then finally, so that completes. Well, so I have one game, Silent Hill Origins, that completes my Silent Hill collection.
I thought you said you got 9 games. You showed 3 things.
I still have one more to show off. The other ones are in the mail. Can you give me a second to explain? And then I got a really good, kind of underrated horror game. It was made by one of the people who actually worked on Silent Hill. It's called Siren on PlayStation 2, which is a really cool game. This game is really cool because you can look into the perspective of the monster's eyes and see if they can see you, and you have to determine, like, oh, well, can I go this way? If they're looking, like, it's pretty cool.
Hey, you can do that in spectator mode in Minecraft.
Yes, you can.
And you can see like green when you're in a creeper and stuff. Is that what it's like in that game?
Sure. So I have Silent Hill Origins coming on PS2. I have Silent Hill Shattered Memories and Origins coming in on PSP. I have Silent Hill Book of Memories coming in on PS Vita. And then I also just bought second copies of Silent Hill 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I doubled up on those.
Why? You already have them.
Because now I have my set that, like, is sitting there. And now I have this other set that if they, like, go up in price by a lot, I can either sell them or I may play them. I don't know. Yeah, that's all the things I bought so far this week.
Nice.
So yeah. Anything you bought cool recently, Jared?
Nope, I just had to spend a large portion of my stimmy on taxes. That's about it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Love it. My city took a ton of money from me. Love living here.
Yeah, as they do. It'd be like my sister's boyfriend. He doesn't even pay him.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to start doing.
Yeah, it's only a little bit illegal.
Because I complain to my mom about paying him. Because I'm like, hey, this number seems really big. Can you double check this for me? And she goes, yeah, this is right. I'm like, yeah, but like, the government doesn't need that much of my money.
What if, like, you don't say I live here anymore and, like, they don't know where I live?
Yeah, stop claiming me as anything.
Yeah, like, how about I'm just like a ghost in the wind?
Well, one day I'd love to just go live in the woods, and then someday, I'll be avoiding all these taxes and stuff, and then one day I'm gonna get raided, and that's how I'm gonna go out. It'll be great. Yee.
Ew. Yee. So
Gee.
I think it's a good time to talk about guns. We had some big stuff today. It is. So,
gun o'clock.
A little bit of a disclaimer. If you don't like guns, if you get uncomfortable about the talk and you don't care for our views, you can just stop watching. No need to talk about it in the comments or anything like that. I mean, if you want to have a civil discussion, go ahead. But no need to cause hate or anything, right? We're just having a discussion. Jared, Mr. Biden.
All right, so since you've said that, yeah, fuck Biden. I hope he fucking chokes at this point. The dumb motherfucker. I'm sitting at work and I'm getting these goddamn notifications. Oh, hey, President Biden planning to use executive power to, fix the gun problem in America. Okay, just choke for me. Why don't you?
Yeah. So I would just like to say, we're having all these mass shootings. Where was this last year?
Yeah.
Why all of a sudden? So I'm just gonna say this. It's a little bit of a conspiracy theory. So
It's not.
With Joe Biden in 3 months, we've had way more mass shootings than last year with Trump. Like unless you want to count the Black Lives Matters protests as massacres, because died there, but that's okay. Like what is going? Why all of a sudden are people going crazy? You know what I mean? Like, go ahead.
There are two possibilities here.
Okay.
Well, there's more, but two of the ones that I think that are the most popular. One is that with Biden not being in office the past few years, they just weren't showing it as much.
Okay,
Why
that
would
could be
they?
fair, yeah.
It wasn't going to benefit the Democratic Party from showing these things. So why show it? Forgot what I was going to say entirely.
Second one's coincidence, like.
Oh no. The second one is people with everything happening and him taking over and things changing a lot. Use one example is obviously gas prices. That's a huge thing that's changed. I know a lot of people don't like that. Not saying that's the only reason, but with all these changes happening throughout the country and also being over a year of lockdown at this point, people might be starting to get a little bit antsy and be looking like we have this shitty person trying to lead this country. I've been in lockdown. Like people are starting to go crazy. Like people are literally the people who were already not very stable as it was,
Right.
just got pushed overboard. And it's possible in these new circumstances that that's another thing that's happening.
Right.
Not saying it's directly, oh, Biden got elected. Now everyone's like, fuck this. I'm going to shoot people. I mean, that's not really what it is. Hopefully. Just, all these people who were, I don't want to say this without sounding offensive. They were not well in the head. Things got worse, and they're like they couldn't take it. They couldn't stand, everything changing the way it did. But I've seen people talk about it. I've thought maybe that's not too conspiracy theorist after all. That seems like it could be like plausible. But yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is a lot right now.
So Biden had his gun press conference today. And here's what I'll say. I feel like a lot of people, their opinion on guns comes from lack of knowledge and
absolutely.
A lack of experience with guns. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I feel bad for these people because I get on the outside why guns can be scary. Okay. You're talking about something that could kill someone in 2 seconds, less than 2 seconds, less than a second. I understand how that's scary. But I don't think they would have the same opinion if they actually got behind one and learned the safety protocols and how much guns actually save lives. And there's so many cases a year where someone carrying protects someone or their life, right? Home defenses, if people didn't have guns, a lot more people would die during home break-ins. And what deters criminals,
more innocent people,
right?
People.
What deters criminal? So if you're a criminal, think about this: am I going to go into a house where I know they have a gun, or am I going to go into a house where they don't have a gun? Very, very much going to pick the house where they don't have a gun, right? And I think one of these, what I saw this on Twitter. So someone screenshotted this girl's tweet that said, "We don't need the police. We need to abolish the police." And then, when all this gun stuff's going on, she goes, "Why do you need guns when you can call the police?" It's like, what does that even mean? You said you don't want the police. That's a whole different topic. Anyways, a lot of times police officers can't get to your house in under 5 minutes. Depending on, if you live, think about LA, for instance, big city. I don't feel like police officers could get to most houses in 10 minutes. And especially where I live, in a more rural area, they're not getting my house in 15 minutes. There's no way. No. Unless there's one
really
close by.
You got to take it upon yourself to defend your
house. So with Biden's legislation that he wants to pass, one of them, ghost guns, right? These are guns that are untraceable, or guns that you build in your house with no serial number. Sorry. So he's trying to make things that, first off, guns aren't registered by serial number, so I don't know why that's a big deal. First off, okay. Second off, this is going to be murky water because when he talks about it, he talks about you being able to build your own gun at home. So is he trying to get the ability of building your own guns banned, or is it just ones that don't have serial numbers? Because that's a tricky subject, right? Also wants obviously, which we talked about. He wants to bring back the assault weapons ban, which, once again, I don't own any assault weapons. Second, red flag laws. They are a hot topic. So if you don't know what a red flag law is, basically a loved one, someone around you could go to court and say, because of these certain reasons, I think he needs his guns taken away. And then basically a red flag, and they take your guns away for up to 190 days or longer until they deem that you're mentally stable or physically stable, whatever. Okay. So that causes problems because with that, you have to prove that you're not dangerous and that you're mentally okay. So what's going to stop the government from just saying all the time that you're not mentally okay? First off, right? Yeah. We go back to the government thing. Second off, and this obviously I don't think would happen as much, but Jared, let's say you're in a relationship with someone other than Rachel, okay? And you and her have a bad breakup, and she knows you're an avid gun lover, right? What's to stop her from going to court and saying that you hit her and that you are mentally unstable, and then you get all your guns taken away? You can't prove that you didn't hit her. And now you have to spend this whole 190 days proving that you're mentally stable. And then you may never get your guns back. So that's from red flag laws. Now the government decides when you have your guns, and other people who have no right to tell you when you have your guns or should have your guns now have the right to take away your guns, right?
Yeah.
So red flag laws, that's a no-go. No thanks.
Yeah.
Universal background checks, I'm okay for. Okay? Better background checks? Sure. I don't care. My background checks take 5 minutes. Like, I have nothing on my record. Literally, I could go buy a box of ammo, come back, and it's done. I'm sure, Jared, you're the same way. A lot of people are that way. I don't have a speeding ticket. I don't have a parking ticket. Nothing. So it comes back squeaky clean.
When I went, because I got my first gun about a year ago now.
Right.
I got my concealed carry, and it was like, after I signed the papers, literally I went and walked around the store for a couple minutes with my dad and I were there. We were just looking at shit. I got a couple boxes of ammo, came back, and it was like, oh, hey, you can take this now. It's like, oh shit, we're done already? Like, it was maybe 10 minutes. It might have been 15 because my dad was looking at certain shit, but it's quick. Yeah. The background checks, it's not bad.
Yep. So when it comes to what else he's trying to propose. So to just go back to the ghost guns thing, what that means is these build kits that you have that you can buy right now. You can build an AR-15, all these build kits, they'd be gone, right? Just think about that. So now you can't just buy your own and build your own, which sucks because a lot of people build guns through that way. And a lot of people don't kill other people with those guns. They just have them, right? So another thing which kind of throws me off, so a pistol brace, right? Usually on Glocks, they're pretty popular. There are kits that you can put your Glock into that makes it have a brace, not a stock. That's different. A brace that you can hold up to your shoulder or help secure it. And they're trying to also get that banned, which I don't understand because how is that how does that make a difference between someone like killing someone with a pistol or not? That brace, first off, doesn't make any difference when it comes to, like, if I'm going to attack someone, that brace means nothing. And also with those braces, it's more hard to say. It's more of a disadvantage than an advantage. If you have a normal pistol brace on, it's not like you can, first off, with those, you're aiming like this, basically. Not really the position you want to be with the pistol. And you give up a lot of leverage, right? I don't understand where this ban's coming from. Once again, it's coming from the slippery slope. And of hey, we're going to ban this little thing, with bump stocks, whatever. But we're going to ban this thing, this little accessory. And then, we'll go to this one because this one's worse than that accessory. And then this one's way worse than that accessory. When pistol braces have never been an issue before and haven't caused any issues, and now they're a big issue. And now he wants those gone. The person he's trying to make the head of the ATF, also someone who wants to get a lot of guns banned, which, I feel like the ATF person should be someone in the middle, someone who understands both sides. But that's just
absolutely.
Um, so and he said in the coming months more stuff will come out of what else he wants to do towards guns, right? And I just want to say this, and I think this is a point a lot of people miss. These people that are killing people, right? Going out and killing 3 or 4 people. The guy who did it in South Carolina, who was an ex-NFL player. Those aren't normal people. They have mental issues. We don't have and Biden said, we have a gun pandemic and it's embarrassing to the nation. No, we have a medical pandemic. We have people with mental issues that are getting access to the guns because the government and police officers are ignoring signs. Look what the school shooting that happened 3 years ago, in Florida, right? That kid was on YouTube talking about what he was going to do and was reported to the police, mind you, and they didn't do anything. So why am I being punished for the police not doing their job? Now I'm going to get my guns restricted, right? The guy who went and did the Las Vegas shooting, a crazy guy who bought all these guns and went and killed a bunch of people. That's not my fault that he did that. And a lot of these other issues, with mass shootings, they don't talk about Chicago, the black on black mass shootings that happen every single day. I mean, basically every single day, 10 or more people are killed in Chicago and no one talks about that. That's mass shooting. That's a mass shooting right there. Every single fucking day in Chicago. But they don't care about that. They just care about the headlines of the most recent one. And with Chicago, you can defend why those mass shootings are happening. Oh, well, there's gang violence there. No, there can't be gang violence because it's just a whole thing. And with a lot of these mass shootings that are happening, I just think the fact that they're happening so often and they're pushing all this legislation out so fast is just it's just weird to me. I don't understand where all this shit's coming from. And I don't like that they are completely ignoring the medical side of everything. And it's not like all this shit's happening with automatic weapons and, like a lot of times it's either a legal firearm or just a firearm someone shouldn't have because of their medical issues. And I mean, like I said, with the person at Parkland, that's a school or whatever, was reported of what he was doing. The Las Vegas one, the brother, I don't remember if it was the brother or ex-girlfriend, talked about how he had problems. The guy who did the Colorado shooting in the supermarket, they talked about his mental issues and how he felt left out in the world and how he felt towards people. And he was allowed to get a gun because of the police and the government, who's supposed to be regulating guns and seeing what's going on, didn't do their job. That's not my fault.
No.
And we have these processes in place already to catch these people. It's just they just won't catch the people.
Yep.
Like Jared, if you sat here every single day and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna kill these people. I'm gonna go shoot up this store next to me. And you're saying that every day, like I'm gonna report you.
Yeah.
And it's not my fault if the police don't do anything. That's on them. I mean, look at in your own city 2 years ago, a guy went into your grocery store and killed himself with a gun.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right? He had mental issues.
That was, the whole story with that was he was dating a girl whose mom worked at the Giant Eagle. And the girl broke up with him and he was, fucking fucked up in the head and he didn't want to break up with her. So he went to the Giant Eagle, went to her mom, who was like working as a cashier or whatever, and was like, I can't live without her. Like, I need her back or something. Like, basically along the lines like, please, like, I need to talk to her. And the mom was like, honey, like, I can't talk to you. Like, I'm at work. Like, we can't do this right now. And the kid went, okay, and just shot himself right in front of her. And like, you don't do that unless there's something wrong. You don't just fucking do things like that unless there is something wrong with your brain.
Right. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the grace period that they want to implement.
Okay.
So up to 3 to 7 days of a grace period. So let's say I walk into a Cabela's and I want to buy a shotgun. Even though my background check comes back okay, I still have to wait 3 to 7 days to get that firearm, which makes no sense to me. If my background check comes back in 10 minutes, why do I have to wait 3 days? That's not stopping anything because I'm still just gonna have the gun in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't understand for people who are normal and who don't have issues in the head, why should I wait 3 days when it is my right to have that gun right then and there?
No, I agree with that.
Like, just I don't know. We have a
I
mental
mean,
health issue
no,
going on right now.
absolutely. It is sad and it is pathetic that the person, like, I know I've said this before, the person who's supposed to be leading this nation, is supposed to be a symbol of the free world, and he's going to take something that this country is prided on, and that's having its citizens armed to keep tyranny from government tyranny. Like, that's the reason we have these things. And he is going to take, he's, for whatever reason, they don't like that. He's taking something that is not an issue of us owning those firearms. It is an issue of the people who are unstable. Like, they're not stable. They're just not well regulated. The people and their mental instability. And he's going to take it and make it political when it's not the guns. It isn't, it it's just, it's sad.
Yep.
It makes me feel a lack of hope for this country because,
Right.
and the problem is it's, yeah, he does these things, but people eat it up.
Yep.
There are people that I know, I won't say names, I won't say relations, but there are people I know who have always said, like, oh, I don't think you need to own a gun. Like, there's no point for any person in this country to own a gun for any reason. And I was like, what about to defend yourself? Like, what about if someone breaks in your house? Well, that's what
Yep.
police are for. I'm like, what if police don't get there in time? And I'm in a group, like a group call chat with them, and there's like 5 or 6 of us, and this person is the only one who believes that. The rest of us are like, that's not true. And they're all very democratic, all very pro Biden. They all kind of, well, I never gave them anything that I went along with, but when they were all telling me they were voting for Biden, I didn't say anything about what I was going to do. But even the ones who were like, I mean, they're the same as this person. They're all pro Biden, and they were like, yeah, like, you need guns. There are plenty of reasons to have guns. Don't feel that way. It's sad that there are people in this country who are like that, who are like, oh my God, Biden says we don't need him. He says it's a problem. Obviously, he's right. Like,
Right.
think. Can you think for yourself? Can you, like, do your own research and understand things? Like, it
Yep.
doesn't make sense to me that people are so willingly to, like, just like jump on the bandwagon and listen to what he says. Like, oh my God, if people didn't have guns, these shootings wouldn't happen. You're right. They wouldn't, shootings wouldn't happen, but the killings still would, because just like in other
Well,
countries, they'll use cars. They will use cars, they'll use
right.
knives, they'll use bombs, they'll use things that are probably a lot worse and can make it a lot more brutal, a lot less, I hate to say it this way, but humane. I mean, if people want to kill, they're going to kill. If they're using a gun, people are going to die quick. If you're using a knife, they'll bleed out. If they're using a car, it's going to suck. If they use a bomb, it's going to suck. I mean, obviously, you don't want killings to happen at all in the first place. You just don't. But like, you're taking this and saying it's the guns problem. No, like, it's the problem that there are people who want to harm others.
Right.
You need to be out here doing something about the people who want to harm others, not something about the guns.
Well,
Because you're taking
exactly.
something that this country has been prided on for years and years and years. People owning guns, doing it the right way, being respectful, being responsible, using them to defend themselves from people who want to do harm. And you're trying to take those away from people, innocent people who use those for good reasons to protect themselves and others. Take those away. So these monsters who are sick in the head, who want to kill regardless of how they do it, and give them a better opportunity to do the killing.
Yep.
It is outrageous to me that people don't see how simple that is and are willing to let the government take away their rights, their weapons, their freedoms, and say, oh, obviously the government knows best. Do everything they say. Listen to
Yep.
them.
And
It makes me sad. It makes me not sure that this is the right country to be in. But anywhere else I go, I'll just get fucking stabbed instead of shot, I guess. So
well, and the thing
take my
is,
chances.
with a lot, like if we ban guns in general, criminals are and people who want to do harm are still going to find guns. Get
Yeah.
guns.
Oh, yeah. They don't. That's the thing. Is like a criminal isn't. They don't buy a
Right.
gun legally. Usually, they'll still get it off the black market. They'll go find it where they're not
Right.
supposed to get it.
So it's not stopping the criminals. It's just stopping law-abiding citizens from having protection. First off,
And protecting it. Yep.
and second,
Exactly.
you know, which we talked about a few weeks ago. You know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, why would you think the government would do this to you? Why do you think they would put you in this tyranny and do it like that? And you know, if they just take away your guns, like they're not going to do that. You should trust government." Okay, tell that to all the third world nations right now that have dictatorships and who are being killed every single day, and they don't have a way to protect themselves. Look at, was it Iran 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where their own leader dropped a bomb on them and killed hundreds, maybe thousands. Like,
Yep.
all these people don't have ways to protect themselves, so all the bad people get to control what's going on. The Middle East is the number one proof. Look at this. London, like England, right? Yo, they don't have guns like that. Okay, well, people a year or two ago were throwing acid on people's faces and mentally scarring them and deforming them. Okay, London also had people who were driving through crowds with cars. Germany had their trains bombed. Paris had bombings. All this shit's happening, and people are still dying, and there's no guns involved. So
you know what's interesting? I'm sorry to cut you off,
Yeah.
but remember the Boston Marathon bombing?
yes, yeah,
Correct? Yes. You know what is interesting to think about is when those things have happened, what happens when those things are reported on? What does the media do? The person who did it was a monster. They were sick. They bombed. They used a bomb to kill people. How horrible is that they bombed someone? They need to be, people need to be tracked. Like, they need to be taken care of. Like, someone needs to track these people who aren't healthy in the head and who do bombings and stuff. But what happens in this country when a shooting happens? Oh my God, there was a gun. Someone needs to take that gun off the street before it kills someone else.
Yep.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yep. And we just gotta be careful what's going on. Because it's just gonna get even worse and worse. I mean, dude, what's next week gonna be? Fucking even more shootings? Like, I don't understand. And where is it happening? In gun-free zones most of the time. So that's also a pretty big point to point out of, hey, maybe these areas where people are dying, they're not allowed to have guns in there. Maybe they wouldn't attack those areas if they were allowed to have guns.
Instead of gun-free zones, we should have free gun zones, which is, this
That'd be
whole
nice.
country, because, Second Amendment means I can have my gun wherever I want. But what do I know?
You
know what? That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
In terms of trusting a government, that's what I was going to say. Why should I trust a government, this government specifically, when last year we were told to quarantine, don't go to work, don't leave your house, stay inside, don't do anything. So then, lose my means of income, meaning I have to go on unemployment in order to pay things I need to pay, and also rely on maybe getting a stimulus check, which we've gotten 3. Smart, but unemployment, had to go on it because I couldn't work for 4 months, something like that. I needed money. Like, what else am I supposed to do? But this government, they give me this money because they had to, because I wasn't supposed to go to work per their orders. And then the following year, doing my taxes, I now have to pay a shit ton of money back to them for doing what they told me to do. They're taking my income because I ended up working, obviously, went back to work. I did what I could to get my money because I had to still earn. I now have to pay them back for doing what they said, which was staying inside because it was dangerous to go outside. So I'm supposed to trust a government that is, first of all, hasn't given us stimulus checks like every other government in the world has. But not only that, they gave me the money I needed to survive, and now they're taking it away from me again.
Yep. I mean,
after doing exactly what they said, which is to stay inside and not hurt others.
I mean,
okay.
It also comes down.
I should trust them, shouldn't I?
Both sides are just untrustworthy. Recently with the kids in cages thing, what's happened was when Trump was president, all you heard about from Alexandria Cortez and stuff was, oh my God, look at how bad these kids in cages are. And now those kids are still in cages at the border. The border has more people running through it than the past 4 years, and more people are being put in cages. And what are the Democrats saying right now? Nothing. They don't care. That's not the story anymore. Now they're going towards guns, because now guns get them reelected, not the kids in cages anymore. So I'm not trusting that. And it's the same way with Republicans. That's the issue. You can't be one side because they're both corrupt. Now, the last thing I'll say about guns before we end it, the reason why America doesn't get invaded is because we are armed as a nation. Why? Let's say I'm Russia. Why would I invade the United States when I know that potentially at every single door I knock at, there is going to be a gun pointed at me, and some soldier is going to die? That is a losing battle. That is over 300 million people with guns, right? That's a hard battle to win. So we're going to give up not only our protection against each other, but against other nations,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll be shown as a sign of weakness.
Yep.
But I think
I think a way to fix most of this would be get rid of the party system entirely. No more
Yep,
Democrats
I
and
agree.
Republicans. That's a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah, it'll always be separate like that. But we do need a third party that's just in the fucking center of, hey, we're better than both of you. We take both sides depending on the issue. We just need that. Because the Republicans say, oh, we'll vote on this if we think it's right, but they don't. They go with their party so that they don't get kicked out. And it's the same thing with Democrats, and that's the issue. And it's just it's scary times we live in right now. It really is.
For sure.
Because we have a president who's saying it's embarrassing to have guns. And also we have a president who can't pronounce every other word correctly and doesn't even know where he is half the time. And then we have Congress and the Senate who have to take weekly breaks when people are sitting here with no jobs and need stimulus checks, but it's too expensive, or
paid weekly breaks, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, they haven't suffered. I would just like to say this, the government can afford to pay us $1,200 every single month. They just don't want to because it cuts into their funds. Also, just remember, the government doesn't support us. We support them. That's how that works. But, it's whatever. Yeah.
Before we finish off, I wanted to share a meme that I've seen recently.
Okay.
So a lot of the COVID vaccine stuff going on recently is
God.
you get a little card for getting your vaccine.
Does it have a sticker on it?
And then I don't know.
Okay.
But you get your COVID vaccination papers once you have both of them. All right. So a lot of memes I keep seeing are like, in a few years it's going to be, or even later this year, because apparently we're accelerating pretty quickly. Is like, people are calling the Republicans like the Nazis, and like you're calling people like who Nazis because we're so mean and horrible. But eventually that same party is going to start going up to you and be like, do you have your papers?
Exactly.
Vaccination papers.
They're going to treat us like how they treated Jews in World War II.
Yep.
You weren't vaccinated? Get away.
That was your papers.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be here at all.
They're
going to start storming fucking houses. Where your papers? Are they hiding in the attic?
You are housing unvaccinated people, are you not?
Oh my god. Could you remember could you imagine, like, you remember the first scene in Inglourious Bastards, where he goes into the
I've never seen that movie in full, unfortunately. I've only seen the last hour of it. I want to see the full movie. I really do.
Okay, so I'll set up the scene. So the first scene, there's this French family, and they have Jews hidden underneath their floorboards, and the Gestapo comes in, and they have a really intense fucking like conversation. Anyways, he figures out that there's people hiding underneath the floorboards. Could you imagine someone coming in your house and they're sitting there and they're like, I can sense unvaccinated people in your fucking walls. And just if I don't want to be vaccinated, it's my right to not be vaccinated. I understand why people should get vaccinated, but at the end of the day, if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it.
This would be me. Oh, you think there's people who aren't vaccinated here? Well, then, good luck finding them, Fed boy.
What, dude?
By the way, talking about that, like the whole vaccine and everything, Ohio, I believe the Ohio lawmakers are either working on or passed a law to like protect people who are using their freedom to not get vaccinated, to not discriminate against them. So
nice.
if I were to choose to not get a vaccine or get vaccinated, whatever, they're putting into effect a law that'll basically say like, oh, you can't like not hire this person, you can't like stop this person coming to your business, like you can't discriminate against like a non-vaccinated person.
I would just like to say, as like a final thing as well, if you're worried about all this stuff that Biden's gonna hopefully try to pass, you can come move to Texas and Arizona and Georgia. We're gun sanctuary states. That doesn't apply to us over here. We're free. We are allowed to have our guns, and we'll continue to be allowed to have those guns.
You know what's so scary about that is like the federal government doing the shit they're doing, and some of the states being like, go fuck yourself, stepping out of bounds so much.
I mean, Ohio's been doing the same thing, to be honest with you.
Really feels like we're gonna have a world war or civil war.
Like,
with
I feel like
the shit's going.
The thing that's gonna happen, like that, we are with so much civil unrest, we are I feel like very close to that happening. But who's gonna win that war? The people with guns or without guns? That's gonna be the funny thing, right? So all these people are like, you don't need guns. Here comes the people with guns, and now you listen to them. Is that not how it works?
Exactly.
You know, you're sitting there talking about like, oh, you need to call me he, they. You know, that he, they isn't going to help you in the fucking war and trenches, baby.
You don't need your guns. And then the people with guns come in to liberate them from a tyrannical government. Don't worry, we're coming. We'll save you.
They'll walk into the camp. We found them. I actually go by they. I'm killing them now.
Like, don't worry, we're here to protect you from the government. Who are you? I'm a they.
Oh yeah, you're a lost cause. Bye.
Oh, they've already brainwashed you.
Yep.
Don't worry. Look at the flowers.
Oh God. It's all right, Lenny. Yeah. God. It's crazy. But seriously, like if that were to happen, which side's gonna win? The hundreds of millions of people with guns, or not with guns?
A government with a military that probably won't back them.
Well, that's the thing. The people who don't like guns, you have no choice at that point. You're either on the wrong side or the gun side. Well, that's not fair because both sides would think one's a good side. So you're either on the side with guns that's gonna kill you and win the war, or the side that's gonna sit there and say we're vegans and we don't eat meat. Like, which side are you picking, right? Like,
we'll just have to see what color bullets they shoot, because like in Star Wars,
it's rainbow.
The Empire shoots the green and the Rebels shoot the red. So really, who's the good and bad guys in that situation?
Right.
Because green's supposed to be good. You know?
They're just shooting dildo launchers on the fucking battlefield.
I'll tell you right now, if I see a hailfire of dildos raining down in my position, I'm gonna be a little bit scared.
That is scary, you know. Those things have some weight to them.
You'll just start hearing just meaty flops. Just I'd be diving for cover. Tell you.
Sounds like a fucking brothel on the warfield.
Someone's like, return fire. Like, I gotta wait for the dicks to quit falling.
Sounds like a Kardashian household. Jesus. Yeah, we're in for a rough bit, but yeah, that political talk. There you go. As stuff ramps up, we'll talk more about it towards the end.
Don't worry, I'm sure YouTube's gonna take this down, and because we're
they actually left us alone last time.
Really?
They actually left us alone last time. I will say that. Thank fucking God.
We're not big enough yet, then.
Oh yeah. If we ever start getting millions of views, you fucking mention that you're pro gun. You're pro gun? You lost all your ads.
You're not immediately openly Democratic. If someone needs to go fucking take this crazy person out.
You think people are biologically male or female only? Ugh. Lose your fucking pay.
I mean, I feel like there are a couple other genders, but
I mean, there's people who are both.
Yeah.
Transvestites, you know?
See, that's where you and I start to drift apart. When it comes to guns, right there with you. Then everything else, I'm like, people are still people.
I mean, yeah, they're still people. But like, if you're gonna force your pronouns on me, I don't like you at all. Like, whatever you want in your world, if you want to sit there and call yourself they, them, that's cool with me. But when you start coming at me saying I need to call you something, no thanks. I'm out.
You can come over here and tell me all your pronouns you want. You're just pal to me. Pal or buddy. All right, friend.
But you're using male terms.
No, I'm not.
I say guy, or yeah, like whenever people are leaving the store or something.
Dude.
Yeah, I just go, hey, have a good day, guys. I can't wait to be reamed out my asshole for saying that. I'm waiting for that day to happen, to be honest.
If a customer were to say to me, how fucking dare you, if I went, hey guys, have a great day, because I say that all the time. And
right.
When it's a family of people, I say, guys, have a great day. If a lady looked at me and went, how fucking dare you, I think I'd be like, I hope you die. Like,
how fucking dare you, bitch? What do you mean?
Dare you? It's like, did you call us guys? Like, yeah, like, have a great day, guys. What am I supposed to say? Guys and guyettes?
I'm a female. Well, you don't look like one. You don't act like one, so you're a fucking guy.
I am a woman. You may biologically be female, but you sure as shit act like a woman.
Now, like, it comes to a point, like, if you respectfully come up to me and you're like, hey, like, I'm going through transition. I would like to be called she, her. Okay. I'm not that pressed about it. I get pressed about it when you sit there and say, then you're not a female. Because biologically, you're a female. And if we're going to start denying science, that's where I have a problem. But if you come up to me and you're like, hey, like, I know this, this is stepping on your boundaries a little bit, but like, I prefer to be called she, her instead of he, him. Okay. If that makes you comfortable and we're having civil discourse and we're both being normal and just normal people, I'll call you she, her. I don't care.
Yeah. If you can be a likable, nice person about it, like just a decent human being,
Yeah.
bet. All right, that's fine. But if you're going to be an unlikable cunt about something,
Yeah.
fuck off. It's not a matter of what I don't care if you're fucking every color of the rainbow and fucking straight one day, gay another day of the week. If you're going to be a douchebag about it, fuck yourself.
Yep.
Honestly. By the way, little fun story for you. A person that I used to work with, because they recently got fired for walking out on the clock, was a person who was transitioned. I don't know fully or not. And they were a little awkward, but that wasn't, I don't at all think that was because of like the transitioning thing. I think they were
Right.
just awkward because of who they were. And I worked with him a few times. Not a bad person. Like we had conversations like regular people do. Got along just fine. I don't talk to people if I don't have to. So that's how my relationships with my coworkers are. Didn't think there was anything wrong. They recently walked out on a shift. Not really sure why, but they were fired for leaving during a shift because you can't do that. You left a lot of people in a bad position. You can't just leave.
Right.
And
Makes
so
sense.
when this person was fired, they went and cried.
Like harassment.
Harassment.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I was trying to think of the word. They cried harassment, saying that all their coworkers were harassing this person very badly. And so this was a person who was, I believe, biologically male transitioning to female. I don't know. I don't mean to be rude at all. I'm not going to hit this person's name. They were not very attractive regardless. I couldn't tell by the sound of their voice. So whatever they're doing was going well for them, I guess. But they were just not very professional about it. They weren't very stable about it. They went and created multiple fake email accounts to go on Google and review poorly for our location. Some of them saying like, "Oh, employee's name was being harassed by coworkers to their face in front of guests. Very unprofessional and never return." And it's like that didn't happen. Like it just didn't happen. First of all, I know it didn't happen when I was around them at least, but like the only other people that this person worked with, the people that they work with won't do these things. One of the kids that this person worked with is gay, and he's a very nice kid. Love him to death. He's been a wonderful employee since I've worked with him. He doesn't talk to people like that. He just doesn't. He's a bit awkward himself, but that's just because of the way he was raised. Like he was raised in a very difficult household. But he doesn't talk to people like that. The only other person was our boss, and our boss was friends with this person. So my point with this story was, if you're someone who is transitioned or is transitioning, if you're a nice person and you don't use that transitioning against other people, then you can do it all the live long day. I don't give a fuck. Do what makes you happy. But if you're going to use what you're doing because you're unhappy about a situation, say they harass me because I'm transitioning or I'm transgender, don't do that, because no one ever said anything about, like, literally, there are some girls there who have a lot of drama going on. Never heard them say anything like that, and they talk shit about a lot of people.
As
Like
women
it
do.
was yeah, pretty much. But like it was never said to their face. Like it's just fucked up that this person seemed nice enough, turns around when they get in a situation they weren't comfortable with or they didn't like, and then use that out loud like that. I just don't like that. Like that's like if someone's gay and they go, they fired me because I was gay. They don't like me because I'm gay. That's not it, man. Like either you're an unlikable cunt or you're lying. Like if you're a nice person, people aren't going to do that shit. They're just not usually. I mean, I get there's some exceptions, but this situation was, yeah. My point is like, just don't be a douchebag, and
Yeah.
people aren't going to treat you poorly.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the most or a big point is like, I feel like a lot of those kind of people, they come off harsh and they get really aggressive fast because they feel like they're being disrespected, which whatever. But if you just come at it in a more calm approach, I feel like more people will be like, okay, well, that stereotype of you guys being cunts and dicks like wouldn't be a thing, but here we are, where it's a stereotype, and what do we know about stereotypes? They have some truth to them.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Yep, like white people can't dance. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, you would be surprised how nice people would be, how much sincerity you get in the world if you came up to people with a better attitude and were nice to people.
Yep.
I mean, it is insane. If you just strike up a friendly conversation with somebody with all good intent, 9 times out of 10, they will be, at the very least, they'll be nice to you back. If not, they're just going to be like, oh, I'm like, they'll be awkward about it. Maybe
Right.
they don't want to talk. But like, if you're nice to someone, 1 out of 10 times, someone will be like, go fuck yourself, man. I don't want to talk to you. But that's not going to happen. It's so rare.
Yep. Alrighty.
Regardless of what you are.
Right. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. If you're on iTunes, you leave a review. SoundCloud, you follow. Spotify, you follow. I think you can like on Spotify now. I don't know. Yeah, I think you can like.
I don't know if it's like or if it's like favorite. I think you can favorite an episode.
Favorite. We're on iHeartRadio now. Once again, Chad, thanks for the gift. I'll try not to shit on it next week. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week. This has been Conversation Cold Ones.